Guys, we're going to talk about Germany in World War II. So the first thing you need to do is rewind in time and go back to World War I. And since this is a U.S. history class, you need to center in your mind who is in charge of our forces and kind of contemplate our role in all of it. So remember, there was a general named Blackjack Pershing who oversaw our forces. And Blackjack Pershing counseled Woodrow Wilson to actually extend the war. He felt that the armistice was rushed. He felt that the Triple Entente should occupy Germany and make it extremely clear that the Germans were crushed, that they had to sue for peace, that there was no other option. Pershing felt strongly if you did not do this, there would be some Germans who would feel as if they actually could have continued to fight on, who would feel as if maybe they should try to rise up again. You know, Pershing wasn't actually silly. There may be a little something to his ideas, because there are going to be Germans who feel that the German government will sell out the soldiers. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But you know that the armistice does come around on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. And this will lead to something called the Treaty of Versailles. The Europeans, once they all get together and they start talking about all of these things, while they'll sign up for Woodrow Wilson's League of Nations, they will put the blame at the feet of Germany. They will say all of this blood, all of this misery, all of this lost treasure, it's all your fault, Germany. It's all you. So you're going to have to pay for it. Pay. And you guys know that this is actually probably not really the truth. World War I is complicated. Its beginning sparks are complicated. To lay that all at Germany's feet is, I don't know. And the Germans are going to feel this way too. They're going to be like, really? It's all our fault? Like, you guys sure? All of you other gigantic empires? But that being neither here nor there, the Germans are going to have a really hard time fulfilling the Treaty of Versailles, and they're going to be in the midst of rebuilding in a very unstable situation. They're going to turn into something called the Weimar Republic, and they're going to experience economic unrest that is almost untenable. By the early 1920s, there's going to be hyperinflation in the economy. And what does that mean? It means to buy a loaf of bread, you got to push a whole wheelbarrow full of paper money down to the store. And this is just a great hardship for the Germans. So the Americans actually see this, and they see the instability, and we do something that is good. Now, granted, we're looking for a way to make money, but that's okay. That's an incentive. You can still do good with that incentive. What the Americans come up with is something called the Dawes Plan. This is put forth in 1924 when hyperinflation is a very big problem in Germany, and it will help them stabilize their currency. And essentially what it is the United States will give investments into German industry, and then the Germans will rebuild their industrial base, and then they will make money, and then that money will be used in part to pay back their reparations to countries like Britain and France. And guess what? Britain and France owe us money. So Germany, the US, will give Germany some money, Germany will make some money, and they will give money to Britain and France, who will owe us money, so they'll give money back to the United States, who will have more money to invest in Germany, who can then give money to Britain and France, who can give money to us. It's a beautiful, big old money circle, okay? So the Dawes Plan was actually really helping. It didn't solve everything, but it was good. Capital investments can be good. But by 1929, as the Dawes Plan actually turns into something called the Young Plan, we're going to run into some problems. What are those problems? Y'all know I've been talking before already about a weak banking system that has some flaws. And when the 1929 stock market crash takes place, a lot of banks are no longer going to want to invest in Germany. They're going to be like, oh, wait, we need to care about what's going on here, okay? Now, I have argued before, and I will argue forever, that the 1929 stock market crash could have easily turned into a garden variety recession. However, there was a perfect storm of other factors. Things like the Smoot-Hawley tariff in 1930, which is going to destroy 6% of our economy overnight. And the United States, along with the Smoot-Hawley tariff, the stock market crash, the very weak banking sector, the horrible agricultural sector, and yada, 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 is going to fall into the depths of the Great Depression. So, guys, this is the thing. When the United States falls into depression, guess what? So does everyone else. Everyone should always be rooting for the U.S. because then, as now, our capital mattered. Then, as now, our fate affects other countries. So you want the U.S. to do well if you want the world to do well. Regardless, the Dawes Plan, that money circle, it gets broken. Poof, it's done, it's over. And as we fall into depression, the other countries in the world fall into depression, and this includes Germany, which will now not suffer from hyperinflation, it will suffer from deflation, which is just another hootenanny bad time when we're talking about economics. And while this takes place, you're going to see rise up some demagogues. And one demagogue in particular is super important. A little guy with a mustache running around by the name of Adolf Hitler. Now, understand, Adolf Hitler did not just come out of nowhere. Dude has been around for a while. He actually fought in World War I for Germany. He was a soldier in the trenches. I mentioned in another lecture that he was fighting really very close to Winston Churchill, which is very interesting because they are certainly going to be up against one another in World War II. And let's talk about Hitler in just a minute in part B of this lecture. So part A, you need to keep in your mind that you had World War I, created the Treaty of Versailles, punitive towards Germany. The U.S. has the Dawes Plan, invest in German industry. The Dawes Plan money circle that is created between Germany, the Triple Entente, and us gets broken. Everyone falls into depression, and the world is in a bad way in the 1930s. We'll start, have that in your mind, and we'll start again in part B.